We Have Concerns provides you with joy, we hope.
Yeah, we hope. We never check in to see.
Value?
Yeah, we'd like that.
Well, we would love some joy and value in return in the form of money. Can we have some money?
Yeah, give us some money. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
I missed having my 3D. Ooh, I love
Yeah,
my 3D.
I gave up the 3D, you know. It's not easy. It wasn't easy. I gave it up for my 80.
Did you really?
Doesn't have 3D ability in it.
What?
I know.
How do you buy the world's largest TV with all the bells and whistles and it doesn't have 3D in it?
Had one fewer bell. What are you going to watch first on your 3D?
Oh, there's nothing to watch in 3D. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
The Tumbleweed. Is there anything...
Nature's dessert?
Is there anything
candy?
more American? Americana. The West.
Rocky.
The tumbleweed.
The Rocky movies are more America.
Well, they're certainly more recent America. But I'm talking classic
Classic Rockwell.
Americana. Just the plains and the tumbleweed rolling across the plains and the cowboy astride his mighty steed.
I think of it more as a animated cartoon visual gag. I think of it more as maybe
Wile E.
the,
Coyote?
the quintessential Warner Brothers gag when like something happens and they stare at the camera and just a tumble, or they're like, "Hey everybody," and they turn around and it's just a tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think. I think of the tumbleweed as like nature's punchline.
I think it is nature's punchline. There's nothing that conveys empty, abandoned area like tumbleweed. You don't see tumbleweed amidst, a bustling, happy place
On its way to work.
Yeah. Tumbleweed isn't
Tumbleweed commuter.
Yeah. It isn't like a gymnastic tumbling. It isn't. The tumbleweed isn't bounding toward anywhere. It's sullenly leaving the most desolate, arid place you can imagine.
In that way, it's sort of like America. Makes you think. I don't even know why I said that. I don't even know what that means.
But doesn't it feel like the Wild West and that American myth?
Sure.
Well, this article in the National Geographic...
If it's what you need to get you to the next place.
Premise attained.
All right, let's go then.
This article in the National Geographic that Derek Brown sent us. Derek Brown, he's just knocking him out of the park, Derek Brown.
Dude,
he's
Derek Brown.
Friend of the show, Derek Brown.
He's killing it.
Yeah.
Murderer of show subjects.
He
Derek
takes
Brown.
show subjects and he cuts them up and he holds them in his basement and then he sends us internet pictures of them.
Yep.
Hero. Hero Derek Brown. This is an article in the National Geographic about the tumbleweed. Turns out not American.
Huh.
Tumbleweed not American. It was imported here from Russia of all places. So all that American, all of the in the 19
Wait. Somebody's coming over from Russia.
Yeah.
In a boat.
Yeah.
And they're like,
we will show these Americans. We will show them.
I'm going to make my fortune in the new world.
I
will bring them tumbleweeds to the new world, and I will sell the tumbleweeds to the people.
Vladimir, have you seen American cartoon? There are no punchlines yet. We can corner the market on American punchline cartoons.
I haven't even seen a cartoon yet.
Oh, they're delightful, let me tell you.
What is even a moving picture? Let's get on this boat and take these tumbleweeds to America.
And that was their plan.
That was their plan.
They got on the boat.
No, what do you mean brought over from Russia? This was an accident.
It was an accident. And it turns out these tumbleweeds are extraordinarily robust things. So evidently there was some grain purchased at some point from Russia that was brought over on ships, and they were seeds. They were tumbleweed seeds mixed in with that grain. And the tumbleweed is a shockingly robust weed.
Have you ever actually touched a tumbleweed?
I think I have.
You ever actually touched one? We went to my wife's mom's new house in Arizona. She lives out in the middle of Arizona.
Tumbleweed country.
Where it's one of those developments in the middle of nowhere, right? Where they're like, we're going to build this. You'll get a house here inexpensively because there will be a city around it in 15 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But right now, still shot tumbleweed.
It looks right now. It's like walking around a Twilight Zone episode because there's this like perfectly finished neighborhood with all of the amenities, and then it's surrounded by desert. Like, you get to a point and the road just stops. Like, it just stops. And it's like...
where the sidewalk ends.
It's a desert, yeah. That famous poet by Alfred Lord Tennyson. So... But there are tumbleweeds everywhere, and I had never seen a tumbleweed.
Yeah.
And it was rolling by.
You chase it?
I swear to God, I chased the tumbleweed. I'm walking with my wife, and I go, oh my God! And I go running at the tumbleweed. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, tumbleweed! Another thing you should know about me, I also chase pigeons. I literally do sometimes.
Did you, when you started chasing the tumbleweed, did you run in place a little bit first? Yeah.
After the tumbleweed, and I didn't know what to do to stop it.
Right.
And so I tackled it.
You did not.
Like, I jumped.
You dove onto the tumbleweed?
Because it was big. It was like up to almost my waist. And I just dove at this tumbleweed. And it was surprisingly...
Cut to your wife just slowly shaking her head.
As she usually does. Her default position. But I jump at this tumbleweed and I grab it and I'm on it. And I expect it to I'm in the air and I'm literally thinking to myself, this was the dumbest thing in the world. I'm going to crush this thing and end up on the ground. I'm going to hurt myself.
Right.
No. Tumbleweeds.
Tumbleweed could support Anthony Carbone.
Very tough.
Wow.
It was springy.
Did you bounce right off of
I
it?
bounced 30 feet into the air and was caught by a giant lumberjack. There's nothing more American than that day.
That was a beautiful thing.
No, but it did. It kind of I didn't really fall. I didn't bounce back up, but it was very... it was dense. It was strong. It was like resilient.
Robust.
It was robust.
Just like the American spirit, Anthony.
Wow.
Or the co-opted Russian spirit, I guess.
That's what it is.
So yeah, these are extraordinary.
Somebody bought it in a grain or something. It got mixed up. It got brought over somehow.
Yeah. And
just started germinating and growing. And because they're so robust, it's basically an invasive species.
And this article is saying that in October of 1880, the Department of Agriculture in Washington first received word of this strange new plant that had begun appearing in South Dakota. South Dakota is evidently the first place that it was spotted, or at least that it had gotten so abundant that people started noticing, hey, there's this weird thing rolling across the plains.
Yeah.
Every time a city has been abandoned.
That's why it's the state bird of South Dakota.
That's right.
Look it up.
Tumbleweed, the Dakotan tumbleweed. So 1880, first time. Mm-hmm. I would have thought earlier, personally, because it's such a symbol of the American West. I would have figured it was even earlier than that, but it's pretty close to when the American West started happening.
I think it's just a symbol of the American West because of Roadrunner cartoons, dude.
Really?
And those weren't until...
And Westerns?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not shocked that they didn't exist before 1880. Or at least over here.
This guy named Leicester Hoxie Dewey. He was assistant botanist in 1880. He was sent from Washington to investigate. Leicester Hoxie Dewey came into town to investigate the crazy new weed that's been tumbling across the plains.
My dearest Clara, I have arrived in South Dakota to hunt down this elusive tumbling weed. The people here are horrible. They are just straight garbage. Seriously, Clara, you would not believe these backwards ass, horrible ass, terrible ass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I miss you every day. I hope to find this stupid weed and get out of this garbage place. Leicester Huxley Dewey was
he was a dick.
Yeah, and he was mostly assistant botanist because he couldn't get promoted because he was just a dick to everyone.
He was such a dick.
They always sent him on those field missions.
Send that guy to Dakota. Get him out of here.
We heard that there's a weed that turns into an orb and rolls down the plains. That's obviously a crazy person. Send Dewey after it so I don't have to listen to him.
That's Dewey work.
That's fucking Dewey work is what we call that. Send Dewey. Clara's like, oh, thank God I have 6 weeks without him.
I'm not opening this letter.
Dowries, fucking right. Yeah, she just throws him into a fire.
That's why they were all found. She's hanging with
the actual botanist, the head botanist.
she's rocking the head botanist. That's why we were able to read it here on the show, though, is because these endured because they were never opened.
They were never opened.
They were kept in mint condition.
She threw them into the fire and they wouldn't burn because even fire hated Leicester Huxley Dewey. What a shithead.
So anyway, so he's investigating this.
Botanists are the only people worse than gymnasts.
That's true.
That's
and
true.
they both deal with tumbling shit.
Yeah, garbage.
Maybe tumbling is
If you're a botanist / gymnast living in South Dakota, jump in a river.
Yeah. Yes.
Follow a tumbleweed off a cliff.
The official position of the We Have Concerns podcast is that South Dakotan gymnast botanists can eat a dick.
Bunch of Leicester Huxley Deweys.
Oh, so that's such Leicester Huxley Deweys.
Then what does he find?
He finds that this weed is not native and that it actually spreads in a really interesting way. I don't know if you know how these things worked.
They're like
basically, kind of.
They're like tribbles, right?
They don't have any leaves, as you probably can imagine by thinking of the image of them in your mind. But they actually produce these small spiny scales that are called bracts.
Yeah.
B-R-A-C-T.
No, I know.
And then tuft in the cleft between the bract and the stem are these tiny flowers that you can't really see that spew seeds. So basically,
as they roll,
they just spew the fuck out of seeds.
Yeah.
And they leave seeds
and they're using,
everywhere.
Yeah. And the spikes don't just help them get traction. The spikes also help them like drum up the ground, like
right.
and like put the seeds in like
and they
uneven
only
ground.
need just a few drops of moisture to survive, to sustain, and then they drop a root 6 feet deep where the seed grows. They grow the plant, and then at a certain point, sort of like how apple stems work. You know, when an apple stem gets weak and then the apple drops from the tree to make more trees. The same way, the base of this plant gets weak.
I think you mean vines. Apples are from vines.
I watch vines on my Apple phone. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, you're a garbage person.
That's what you're referring to.
Leicester Huxley Dewey sitting right across from him my whole time.
Classic. Dewey
So
work.
okay, so
the base of the tumbleweed gets weak.
Yeah.
And it snaps off, and it just keeps doing that across the plains, and basically in like less than 10 years, all of America is covered in. There's not a state you can find except for Florida and Alaska that don't have tumbleweeds in them. Crazy, right?
Because of the crazy people?
I think, I don't know why it won't go to Florida, but it doesn't.
Because of the crazy secret criminals in both states?
I guess
Tumbleweeds are scared?
Tumbleweeds are terrified of Floridians, as they should be.
Alaska's the last frontier, my friend, and Florida is full of the crazies. If I was a tumbleweed, I wouldn't go to either. I'm a human. I wouldn't go to either of those places.
You know what's weird?
That's not true. I would go to Alaska.
You grew up in Florida, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm never going back.
It did get to Hawaii, though. There's tumbleweeds in Hawaii.
They made a tumbleweed bridge.
Yeah, they did. The tumbleweeds can work together.
Yeah.
In a what they call a tumble storm.
Tumbleweeds separately, very dumb, but they get together and it's like a hive mind.
Yes.
And
they grow.
Yeah.
And they can actually cling together and float across the river in a massive tumble island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why nobody has ever entered or left Russia since 1901.
Yeah.
Because of the giant tumbleweed dome around Russia.
Yeah, you can see it from space, the tumbleweed dome.
It's beautiful from space.
It is. Up close.
Up close, it's
disgusting.
Yeah, you
don't want to see that.
It's just human beings trapped in the brambles, being used as batteries.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting. Russia, we hope one day we can save you.
That's also what they call a gymnast orgy, is a tumble island. I don't know why. It's disgusting. I hate gymnasts.
Gymnasts are the worst.
Yeah.
Duh, I'm a gymnast.
Look at me.
I can flip.
Look at that. Look, I can do a push-up.
Mostly muscle.
A handstand. Look at that.
I'm super coordinated.
You want to see a cartwheel?
I'm attractive.
Look at me.
I practice every day, and now I'm like really good at a thing that not very many people can do.
Yeah. Look like a poetry of the human form. Look at me. Express it. Gymnasts. Anyway, I kind of feel like you're not impressed by the history of the tumbleweed. I thought this was a really interesting article about
not
how
really.
The tumbleweed is not American.
Plant shit.
It grew at a rate. They think it's a scourge. It was a scourge across the land.
Why was it a scourge? What was it doing?
It was obnoxious.
That doesn't mean anything. It's just rolling around. It's doing its own thing.
People had to abandon their cities in order for the tumbleweed to be a metaphor. The tumbleweed came into a town. They're like, I guess we got to leave.
It's a harbinger.
Because the tumbleweed can't be around people.
Nope.
It has to only be abandoned sites, so I guess we better abandon.
Many people don't
site.
know this, but if you haven't been close to a tumbleweed kind of lets out a constant, high-pitched, annoying tone, like a
Yeah.
And so when a tumbleweed rolls into town, people just leave because after days of that,
You don't want to be around.
it just gets under your skin.
It's the worst.
Why was it a scourge? That's the thing that hasn't been explained to me. I understand that it's kind of an invasive species. I understand that it's not native to America, but what was it doing? What did it ruin in the 1800s? Why is this Dewey work?
Well, I'm going to read you this letter that a farmer wrote in 1891. The greater portion of South Dakota east of the Missouri is infested. This obnoxious weed has become so formidable in some parts of the state that many farmers are driven from their homes on account of it. Also, there's a man named Lyser Huxley Dewey. He's a real dick to everybody he meets. That's really the bigger reason why we're leaving town. Dude, he yells at everybody. He tried to sleep with my wife.
May 1st, 1881. Just as I arrived to another town, everyone cleared out yet again. These tumbleweeds are driving everyone away. I have not yet found any sort of poison or venom. There is no reason to believe that the tumbleweed encroached upon anybody or caused them any hardship. But it seems wherever I go in search of the tumbleweed, people leave.
February 22nd, 1896. We gathered up a crew to go get Huxley. That Dewey motherfucker is a real dick. He's been driving all of us from our homes. No one wants to be around him, so we've decided we're going to round up the local townsfolk. We're going to kill him. We're going to string him up. When we got to his abode, he was living in some sort of dome made out of tumbleweeds. It scared most of us off, and the sounds of screaming and shrill, high-pitched, annoying sounds, it was the worst. We lost our morale that day. I don't know what else to do.
February 23rd, 1896. Holy shit, help, fuck me, help, fuck, shit. Holy God in heaven, what has happened? Oh God, oh dear God, the brambles. Oh dear God, help. Oh, how am I even writing this? How am I even folding this and putting it into an envelope? How will anybody even... Oh God, Lyster Huxley Dewey, assistant botanist.
And that's the story of the American tumbleweed.
I don't know, man. This farmer's like, I don't know, they're pushing us out of our home. I don't get it. I guess there were a lot of them, I suppose. Is that the problem? There were a lot of them?
They're giant. They're
you just
robust.
Move them, they roll around. Just get rid of them.
They're unsightly. They're a weed.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know. I guess that's interesting.
I think it's very interesting because it's something that I definitely associate with being very American and Old West.
Maybe that's...
You don't care.
I don't associate... Well, it's like, I don't know. What do you think of the old... Like, what do you think of when you think of the Old West? I'm like, I don't know, covered wagons and cowboys and cacti and the painted desert and like... I guess tumbleweeds are there, but
they're totally there.
I don't really like picture them as like an integral part of like the American West. Maybe that's why I'm like, cool, they're from another country. Boop, 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 boop. Like, right. I don't know. I think it's neat. Now I know a thing I didn't know before. That's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know a thing you didn't know before.
Some guy got paid to write an entire article in National Geographic. Good for that guy.
It's true. All right, well.
I know to stay away from botanists. Fucking dicks.
Oh, they are dicks.
I know that much about it.
I mean, I guess we could have done this episode in like 45 seconds. So you're welcome, everybody.
Hey, real talk. We need you to give this episode 5 stars. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't care what's up or how you felt about the tumbleweed. You need to go to iTunes or wherever you listen to this podcast. You need to give 5 stars.
Yeah. There's no real reason for it. We didn't earn it. Here's what we did. We took a 45-second fact Tumbleweeds didn't start in America. And we turned it into a 20-minute episode of bullshit.
We'll call this episode Stalin for Time, and we need you to go and we need you to look.
But Stalin.
We need you to look
it's a
for
Russian
we need you
thing.
to look for Stalin for Time and give it 5 stars, even though Jeff just did that pun. And then you need
This is a Russian thing.
You can write a review, but I wouldn't.
No. Likely what'll happen with your review is A, no one will read it, and B, you'll just complain about how we've wasted your time today.
Yeah, don't do. But if you are going to write something in the review space, if you are going to do that, please write a letter from Leicester Huxley Dewey.
Yeah.
To his dear wife Clara. Just anywhere along his journey or his life. We need more of the lore of Leicester Huxley Dewey. Please do that.
The botanist dick of the 1880s.